Now it's time for Angel, or Archangel more specifically. Don't want to lose any credibility points by getting the name wrong. Angel has his time to shine, or not so, as the case may be. This was a little encounter that I was very surprised by, but I like the way they did it. You know, we have Archangel against Sabretooth. On paper, this shouldn't be too much of an issue for Archangel. It should be quite a one-sided mugging, if anything. This is the former, horseman of apocalypse. Angel is an incredibly powerful character. He's one of my favorites in the 90s. So badass with the razor wings. I mean, given the chance, he should be able to just shred Sabretooth. But maybe because of the knowledge that he could do so, he gets a little too cocky. Archangel grabs hold of Sabretooth, holds him up over the air, and what happens? Probably something that he never even thought would, and when I saw it on the splash page was so cool. Sabretooth just sinks his claws in and rips through Archangel's wings, and it is bloody and visceral, and you see metal and blood just fly everywhere, and even reading it you're like, damn. So, while Angel is recovering from that, let's take a look at his figure. And oh look at this! This is what a Marvel legend should be. Are you listening, Hasbro? I know that this is kind of a deluxe figure, but this is what you can do when you want to. Check this out. This is Archangel done justice. First of all, look at those wings. Huge, bright, shiny, metallic, exactly what they need to be. He's got the big main wings there, and he's got the smaller ones on the back. Such detail, such care and attention that's gone into this. It is fantastic. So good. Then, of course, you've got 4 different head sculpts, and this is where you really start to get the added value for the character. You've got, of course, the golden horseman war face. That is just this badass looking sentinel kind of mask. So cool. Then you've got the early 90s head up hood sort of look that covers his head. Again, straight out of like X-Men 1, classic Jim Lee Archangel design. Then you've got the hood down, but with the evil looking eyes. You got that evil looking grin with the dark shading in the eyes, so kind of still horseman looking Archangel. And then finally you've got that sort of neutral Angel, blonde hair, blue skin, and kind of a neutral looking expression, which is the Angel that I like. That's kind of what I grew up reading, and it's kind of a shame that it's such a neutral expression. It's like, Warren, can you give us anything there? But still, that's my go-to Angel head because it is the representation that I'm most used to. The design of the figure, the body, the buck, it looks beautiful with the paintwork, and of course there's an older version which is very similar but with metallic paint. I would like the metallic paint, but you know what? I'll take this. And again, this is the design that comes out in the early 90s. This is Horseman costume design, and it's a shame because I would have liked the one that appears in this comic with the blue and the white stripe going down with the halo design. Hopefully we'll get a re-release of that. If they do release that design, I actually wouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't have a problem with getting that one. That's one I wouldn't mind doubling up on because I like that classic 90s look. But as far as an Angel representation goes, this gets a 10 out of 10 for me. It really does, because also I can justify having the older version of the suit because that's the Apocalypse Horseman suit. You know, there's no point in having the Apocalypse Horseman head if he doesn't have the suit that matches and makes sense. So, double thumbs up to Archangel. Now let's focus on the next member of the Love Triangle 3-pack, Jean Grey. This was the money figure that everyone wanted this 3-pack for, and I can see why. This is a fantastic figure. I've got to start ranking and rating some figures that I don't like, because otherwise these videos are going to get very, very samey. I swear there are figures that I'm not a fan of. So Jean has this beautiful face sculpt, 2 in fact, both of which are worthy of being individual head sculpts. Sometimes they'll do 2 different heads and you're like, was this really justified as, an extra head? But this time you've got the huge, big, gigantic hair, and you've got the ponytail as well. Both of them quintessential 90s looks. That's why, just for anyone my sort of age, that kind of early 30s to early 40s, grew up in the 90s kind of era, All these figures are so great because this is just our childhood. This is 90s Jean Grey, and she's captured here fantastically. If they wanted to be more cartoon accurate, they could have gone with a slightly more orange kind of shade instead of yellow, but I always thought that could look kind of weird in the cartoon anyway. The bright yellow is what you see in the comics, and it's represented here splendidly. The Jean that came out before, the previous Jean Grey figure, had a more of a metallic kind of paint job, which, you know, metallic paint jobs, I gotta love those, but this one has the more sort of matte finish, and again, it looks great. Looking closer at the head sculpts, you can see the detail going on there. The eyes, the different sort of contortions and nuances in the face, both of them are terrific. Look so good, almost in some regards too good. When you put characters with these kind of face sculpts next to ones that aren't as good, aren't as detailed, it really makes the lesser figures more obvious. But yeah, Jean standing alone looks absolutely great. And as far as this issue goes, it's Jean's time to shine, because once again Sabretooth has slipped through the net, and now we have Jean once again scanning out across New York, trying to pick up on his sort of psychic footprint that he leaves, and she captures all these images of things that have happened in the past, Sabretooth's history, and you get this little quick capsule time-lapse flashback of what's brought us here, and then we have the confrontation of Sabretooth versus Jean Grey, and you realize how incredibly alpha level Jean Grey is as a character. Almost it's a problem with characters like this, because how do you write them without them being just too easy? You know, it's too easy for them to solve any problem using their telekinesis or their mental abilities. Jean, they moderate her a little bit here, but she confronts Sabretooth in this party that he's bust into, which clearly it's very cold in there, but Sabretooth instantly is, as they say, I love the writing, it's something like, you know, he's a firecracker and she's an atom bomb. And you see that, and it's captured beautifully in this expression of abject fear in Sabretooth's eyes. And you instantly know that this is not the cartoon anymore when Jean just snaps Sabretooth's leg. She's like, yep, telekinesis, bam, down you go. And that was a real moment reading the comic where I'm like, whoa, this is not what I'm used to, but this is very, very cool. So, we're moving on into the endgame here now. All 5 X-Men have stood up and had their crack at Sabretooth, and he's managed to elude them until now. I love these kind of stories where it's one man against an army, last man standing, you know, final do or die kind of stories, even when it is a villain in that role like Sabretooth. I love that kind of Custer's last stand sort of angle. It always resonates with me, whether it's Scarface or you know, Carlito's Way or Leon. It's, you know, that big going down in a blaze of glory, going down swinging kind of storyline that just always hits me right in the heart. Even when the character who is dying is a scumbag, it's still, there's something very human about this defiance and this willingness to keep fighting. And that's where we find Sabretooth. He's finally cornered. He's got nowhere else to go. He's been dropped down from a great height, and he's crashed into the city streets. The police and SWAT are all around him. The X-Men are looking down, and they acknowledge this exact sort of analogy that I was giving, where Sabretooth looks up at Cyclops and he's like, you seen that scene in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? And again, I love this dialogue. Cyclops is just like, yep, I hated it. Bam! And shoots Sabretooth right between the eyes. It hits him like a bullet, is what the dialogue says. And it looks like that's over. But of course it's not. Because in that wonderfully kind of tragic, bittersweet poetry, the cops all come near, the SWAT go to check on him, and the X-Men can see, they know what's gonna happen. Sabretooth lunges for the gun, and bam, bam, bam! And this is, again, at that time, you don't know what Sabretooth can and can't heal from, and in that moment, he could conceivably have been killed. That could have been the end of that character, and what a great end it would have been, because as Cyclops said, Sabretooth won here tonight because he got to spit on us one last time. And that is Sabretooth in the Red Zone. What a fantastic comic. Big double thumbs up and a can of Coke to everyone involved in that story. The art, the setup, the months worth of story leading up to this, and then this culmination of a battle royale throughout all of New York City, with each character getting not only a defining moment, but events that then lead them on in future storylines. Archangel goes through a whole transition trying to recover from these wounds inflicted by Sabretooth. There's a storyline with he and Psylocke where she has to make a sacrifice and takes on new powers to try and heal him. It's a whole thing. What a great standalone issue Sabretooth in the Red Zone is. And each of the figures that represent the characters here have been captured with an artistry that Hasbro in many ways still has yet to match. So when we put the figures together here in this tableau depicting everything that's happened, everything that's gone on before, all the figures and the characters that have encountered each other, it really does just paint this perfect statue of one of the greatest comic book stories of the mid-90s. Guys, thanks for joining me here on Model Behavior. It's been such a pleasure to go through this series with you. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try and do some shorter videos, but let me know, did you enjoy this? What did you enjoy about this format? If you've been watching my videos from the start, you see that they change and evolve as I learn new techniques, as I get confident in doing different things in different ways. So let me know what you like. What other stories would you like to see? Would you like to see more standard, standalone reviews of figures? Would you like to see retro reviews of figures? I would love to know what people want to see, what niches in the slightly crowded YouTube marketplace are not being filled right now. How can I fill your niche? Ugh. So yeah, give me some feedback. I would love to know. In the meantime, like, share, and subscribe. I love doing these videos. I hope you enjoy watching them. Enjoy everything that I do. I enjoy everything that you give me. Keep being marvelous legends, and I'll see you all soon.